A little light up butt plug while you strip it. That is so cute.
Found a website, and on that site, like, you have multiple girls, and he found me. So with my images and all what I was doing on those visits,
she sells her body. I see you. You are providing something real to people who genuinely need it, and you are doing it with heart. You deserve to be proud of it.
If you're really this concerned about a girl that you love doing something like that, just imagine what your mom used to do before you were born.
I love sex workers because why she got a little light up butt plug on? That would be so cute on the pole. That is such a good idea. A little light up butt plug while you strip it. That is so cute. Ugh, I love us. I love us. I love sex workers. Oh my God. Everybody's so creative. We're so artistic. You're doing great, sweetie. You're doing great.
That was a girl. This girl's a stripper. But that girl sells the cat. She sells the cat, and she's in regular society, right? Walking around like a regular bottom dweller like the rest of us. Why am I saying that? Because so many men are asleep, fast asleep, but not that much anymore. Men are starting to wake up. This new generation of men are waking up, right? I understand. And the new generation of men want to be understood. Why do they want to be understood? Because things like this are happening. It's gotten worse. The ladies have gotten much worse. Why am I saying this? Because somebody like her who sells the cat, probably for cheap, even expensive, I don't know, right? Also doing it.
I need my teachers to enter those grades. I need them to put in the final grades right now because your girl is tearing it up. Really tearing it up. And that's my Arabic. I'm definitely going to get an A in that class, but I need them to enter it officially into the grades ASAP. ASAP, please. I need the show. I need it on the record now. I got a 4.0, mother.
You see? Well, why did I show that, right? I showed that to point something out. She's going to be in regular society, right? Eventually, she'll want a regular man. Probably won't want a regular man, right? Gonna be a 304 and expect a baller. This is what's happening. And this is what men have to deal with. So men are saying, no mas. Look at her. I'm not hating on her. She's got a 4.0 GPA. Good job for you. But how did you get it? It's no dignity in what you're doing. These ladies are told and taught, my body, my choice. My body, my choice. And freedom was given to them by who? The Grandmaster himself, right? That betrayed all of humanity. And mostly you ladies.
my boyfriend had no idea. So my boyfriend and I dated for 5 years, and he never knew what I was doing. Most girls who work like I did, nobody knows. Not their boyfriends, not their family, sometimes not even their closest friends. So he was working 2 jobs, and I was working like 4 hours a day. I just told him I was working as an influencer, like on Instagram, and I got too confident that he was never gonna find it out, and I left a scribbled email on the kitchen counter one day. So he found it weird, and he started snooping until he found a website. And on that site, like, you have multiple girls, and he found me. And the thing about this is that it has multiple descriptions, basically reviews. So with my images and also with what I was doing on those visits, he confronted me, obviously, and he was really emotional. I came clean, and I told him, like, there was no way that after what he saw I could hide it. And he actually did forgive me, but afterwards, I mean, things were broken. There was a lot of silence and a lot of tension. For 5 years, he had never yelled at me. He was a very calm person. And even when he confronted me about all of this, he was always pretty calm. But then like a week later, he got home from a night out and he was absolutely drunk. And so this is when he snapped at me, and he was going through like this rage fit. He started throwing all my makeup down the toilet, like flushing it, and he's like twice my size.
I gotta tell you guys what's going on, right? What you don't realize, she was taught by other ladies, it's okay, right? It's okay. This man was taught by society, who was brainwashed for feminism, this is okay. It's not okay. Everything she's doing is not okay. She's siding with the enemy. Guys, we are in a spiritual battle. We are. Look what's going on. She's selling herself. She did. My body, my choice. My choice. My choice. Men are backing out because they know it's evil. Continue.
I couldn't do anything and I got really scared. So I called the cops. The day after, he told me that he thought he could deal with it, but he can't. And he wasn't yelling or drunk anymore. And he had a very calm conversation. He was very mature about it. And obviously, I get it. I mean, I wasn't innocent, obviously, but he wasn't perfect either. It's super weird because someone's in your life for 5 years and then all of a sudden you guys don't talk anymore. There's no more contact. But honestly, I'm kind of relieved because I don't have to pretend anymore. Like, I don't have to lie. I'm not proud of what I did, but at least, like, I'm not embarrassed to admit it.
Belongs to the streets. But you weren't going to tell him. He had to find out on his own.
Female girlfriend, redundant, used to sell herself to sugar daddies. How do I react? I'm 29 male and I found out that my long-term girlfriend used to sell herself to sugar daddies. This was mostly videos, but at least once involved meeting for sex. She, 27 female, never told me and says I should have never known. I did snoop. And that it's not my business as it was before me. I love her so much, and considering this all happened in our town, I can't help but think I deserve to know. It's hard to believe the girl I love would do that in the past. What should I do? Am I wrong to judge her? Yeah, you're wrong to judge her, because one, it was before you were a part of her life. So you had nothing to do with it. And two, if you're really this concerned about a girl that you love doing something like that, just imagine what your mom used to do before you were born.
You can't make this.
If it's leaking into your current relationship and she's still doing that, causes a problem, then you should address it. But this had nothing to do with you. And honestly, yeah, you're in the wrong for snooping.
Huh? You know what's funny? You know, and that's why they always go against the patriarchy. You know what was done back in the day? I'm not saying for it to be done now, right? Because time is getting in soon. But people like him, right? Let me tell you, I was doing a Bible study, right? In an Israelite camp, someone brought people to other gods, right? And what he was doing, people were doing things like this in the other tribes. And they were doing sexual rituals for their other gods. And man, I don't want to get into how deep it is, but it's deep and it's still happening today. People use drugs to do it, but let's not get into that, right? Look what this man is doing. And he's a Gen Z man, but his brain is warped.
This job. What we are really selling is intimacy. And intimacy isn't some luxury or indulgence. In my opinion, it is a basic human need. Babies who don't receive physical affection don't survive. And yet many people, especially men, go through life without it. Not because they don't want love, not because they're bad or incapable, but because life happened. Divorce, shame, social awkwardness or anxiety, their upbringing, fear, grief. The reasons are different for everybody, but the result is the same. They're living without touch, without warmth, without connection. And that is really not a pleasant way to live. Most men would probably rather not pay for intimacy. They'd rather experience it freely in their personal lives, but they don't, or maybe they can't. And so for them, paying becomes the best available alternative. For many of my clients, the time they spent with me was the only time they felt desired, seen, touched, accepted, and sometimes in years. And when people say things like, I can't believe she'd sell her body, they are not seeing any of this. They're not seeing the human element. They're not seeing the need that exists or the service that is being provided. And they're certainly not seeing the women behind the work, the ones who show up with care, presence, and purpose. Because yes, many of us feel a deep sense of meaning in what we do. I certainly did, even at 18. And that might be hard to comprehend if you've never experienced this industry or questioned the beliefs that you were raised with. And honestly, like, why would you if you didn't have to? But for every colleague of mine who has ever felt the sting of judgment, for every woman who has ever been reduced to a throwaway line like she sells her body, I see you. You are providing something real to people who genuinely need it, and you are doing it with heart. In many cases, with more compassion than the world gives you credit for. That is not shameful. That is powerful, in my opinion, and you deserve to be proud of it.
Just shrug your shoulder.
Cause they my shoulders. I don't know how to answer these.
Thing you hate about women?
The biggest thing I hate about women is that, you know, that one Billie Eilish quote, she said,
give an ugly guy a chance, he thinks he rules the world.
That's it right there.
Okay.
You look at that statement, you see how invalid that is. As a young man coming up, you see how they're just trying to put you down, okay? Now, if the roles were reversed, this would be a cancelable offense for us.
Okay.
You understand that? So I think that, you know, there's double standards, okay, and we have to look at these. Don't let this shit slide.
Okay.
Pause. Okay? We have to realize that, like, if you're gonna say that about us, and you expect us to not say that about you, let's take it back. Let's look at the situation, all right? Next question.
Right.
Yeah, that's what's going on. And everything is okay. Everything is accepted. And that's not true. Everything is not accepted. You know, what these ladies are doing is not acceptable. You know, when a guy caught her selling herself, she broke up with him. And he probably was heartbroken, crying for days. He shouldn't have been. Well, actually, he should have, because she broke his heart. But now he knows how to maneuver. And I'll tell you, the same thing can happen when you go overseas. As a man, but they made it harder for men to mature in the West, right? So as a man, when you go outside, you have to know certain things to look for, right? You have to take the old school, how do you say, cold approach, right? And use it overseas. You have to use the old school cold approach methods overseas by learning the language of that country. Seriously. Because this is the way. As you see, every video shows you this is the way. And what other way is there? To what? Make a bunch of money and then marry a 3 or 4? Because guys want somebody they can have children with and have a family with. Guys want legacy. But how do you build a legacy with a 3 or 4 that sells herself? There's no legacy in that. And men know this. And what do? They get the degrees and hold them over guys' heads. So you see a lot of guys tapping out on that front. But I'll tell you this. Me, I tapped out on that front as well. But I was a grinder. I repeat, I tapped out on the same front by not going to college, but I grinded. And I hustled and I grinded. And as a man, you have to work. Right? So that's why I teach what I teach. Like right now, I pretty much have a Christmas special where my package that's usually $200 is $50, and I'm keeping it that way. I may even bring down my price for people to have people work for you a little lower than it is now, right? Because guys need to know this. I'm talking about you can make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands per year doing what I teach. Like, men have good role models to follow. The role models that are telling you don't waste your money on college, they're telling you the truth. And I think ladies don't realize it, but men are in a better position. Why? Because we can be alone, because it's not lonely.
Better than millennials. I said it. And the main reason for that is because they figured out the truth at a younger age. I'm 30, so I'm a millennial. And we were told so many lies growing up. We were told, be nice and be kind and treat women sweet. Just be yourself. How many times do you hear that bullshit? We were told, go to college, work hard, and get a good job. We were told it's the inside that counts. Women should like you for you. But all of those was lies.
Yeah.
And millennials learned that shit the hard way. But Gen Z don't have that problem. They grew up with technology. They grew up being able to search the truth. And that led them to be able to act accordingly. Like when I was 19, I first started working out. And I was always the youngest person in the gym until like 23, 24. But now I see kids in high school in the gym getting after it. And I talk to those guys pretty often. And a lot of them are skipping college because they don't want to be in debt and they're going to trade school and they're starting to make good money. And they're not simps. They realize how ruthless women can be. So they're not going to simp over that shit. They know how to operate. Like they're all about making money and making muscles. So they're way ahead of millennials in that case.
Well, I understand what he's saying, but that's not the truth with all millennials. I say that because I was 16 working out and didn't go to college either. Also, what am I doing right now? Showing guys how to go overseas and showing guys this is the way. But most guys that I grew up with didn't know, right? I started millennials and I started technology and I kind of led the way. It's because the year I am, the age I am too. I'm the first year of millennials and I was raised by Gen X. So I grew up watching We Don't Love Them All, right? I seen all of that. And it was kind of red pill back then, right? The street way in hip hop was red pill. So I kind of was like that my whole life, not knowing it, not trying to be that. That's just what I had in my DNA. But I get what he's saying. As the majority, yes, it is the majority, and guys are starting to do better because they're learning. Going the old traditional way doesn't work, even though going the old traditional way does work when you're not in the West.
Not conform to society standards, and I'm loving it. Gen Z will literally go the farthest just to not conform to society standards, and I'm loving it. So many boomers today will say to you, work hard and you'll get everything you want in life. Go to school, go to college, get a degree, go to your 9 to 5, sit in traffic, and go home, get ready for bed, and do the same thing all over again for 40 years, and you'll finally be happy. But we don't want that. We want the financial flexibility to have the time to do literally whatever we want in life and not have to give our time away to another employer. We'll literally do anything to avoid the 9 to 5 lifestyle because at the end of the day, it just burns you out, it makes you depressed, and you're working with people you don't even like. You mean to tell me I gotta spend 80% of my day around people that I do not like? I have to sit at a desk for literally 8 hours every single day, and then I finally get to go home at 6 o'clock after sitting in traffic and then spend time with my family? Yeah, I'm good. The sooner you realize the time you're giving away to these employers is more precious than the money you're earning itself, the better. Gen Z is realizing that today, and that's what I love about them.
Yeah, well, it's nothing new, guys. I've known this forever, right? And what I saw growing up, it showed me. I guess coming from where I'm from, right? Seeing Sex and the City girls run the city all day, seeing people. I've been seeing these videos forever. They were on Instagram, they're on Facebook. People having jobs and struggling. I've experienced working and struggling. And so I'm happy I took the way I took, right? I show guys how to work online and how to work online and do the work and also to receive a little push, right? I show guys how to make it easier for yourself to do the work. I show guys how to get the work. What I mean is, let me tell you, I'm gonna break it down, right? I show guys how to apply for the job. I show guys how to do the job and not punch a clock, pretty much. I'm a freelancer, but this is what I'm doing right now. It's freelance work on YouTube, right? Also, what I do is affiliate work. I do all of the different hustles in one. So what you're watching right now is you're watching me work, right? So I teach guys how to take advantage of everything in front of them that you don't see. Because right now on the internet, it's money that you don't see because you're not used to making it that way. A lot of guys may be used to getting a regular job as a janitor or something like that. But I show guys where the money is and how to go get it.
Study that says Gen Z boys do not believe in gender equality. And when you look at these numbers, it's honestly kind of insane. The boys that were surveyed were in 8th and 10th grade, and they were asked questions like a woman should have the same job opportunities as a man. In 2018, 84% of them agreed, but in 2023, 72% agreed. And if you look at the agreed completely numbers, it's even worse. Look at this question. Men and women should be paid the same money if they do the same work. In 2018, 72% of these boys agreed with this completely. In 2023, 57%. That's crazy. And you might think, oh, these are just lonely boys that are stuck on the internet. The numbers are even worse for boys that hang out with their friends versus boys that don't hang out with their friends. And the same trend occurs amongst boys that date girls versus boys that don't date girls, which is almost counterintuitive to what you would initially think. But basically, the boys that are dating girls are actually more against gender equality than the boys that aren't dating girls. I can't say I'm surprised by this study considering how our society currently looks, but the drop off in the numbers are still pretty insane.
Men are waking up. Finally, men are waking up. It's been a long time. Our brains have been in the gutter for the longest. I've watched it for the longest. Seriously, guys, you guys don't know, right? As things were happening, I'm over here in the Philippines just sitting and waiting for my time to strike. Seriously, guys. I've been out here for the longest time, just waiting, twiddling my thumbs, right? And somebody even said something about that. They said, why do you call yourself the Iceman so much? Because I'm like a villain. You know, that happens to villains, right? Villains, they go through turmoil and then they stay quiet, right? And they plot. They plot their come up. Like when the Joker plots his come up. You notice he does like a whole bunch of, you'll see him blowing up the hospital, and then you'll see him blowing up the police station. Remember the last Batman? I forgot, it was the Dark Knight. Joker was blowing up everything. I'm like that. But he waits for his time though. You don't see those times when he's plotting and planning. They never show it. You ever notice that? In the movies, they just show him doing it. So right now, that's what everybody sees. Boo, 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 boo. But I plotted this. Guys, I'm telling you, it was around 2022. It was. I'm sitting there. I said, baby, it's time now. But before then, I had a conversation with my wife. I told her what we would do. I told her the plan. She said, okay, let's do it. And I did it. And so now, that's why I'm making the content I make now for you guys. Because I saw all of these things happening. It's not hard to predict. I saw ladies getting worse. That's why I left and came over here in the first place. So I have to reach out. I'm like an octopus. Reach out to extend our arms, all right? I got extendo arms. Like I throw the arms, like the Iceman has powers where his arms extend, just, and I send my tentacles, my octopus tentacles with ice on them to the US saying, come join me. And it's not just to come here, wherever you want. Leave. Planes taking off. And that's what's happening. You guys saw the passport bros came up in 2022, 2023. But I was already here, just sitting and waiting. So many years. Now it's finally time.
It's about damn time.
We're not able to save anything, we're kind of struggling, and we kind of have it worse off than our parents. Also, we're just seeing that waking up, dude, for real. I mean, it actually looks like that. I mean, on my side of social media, it looks like we're waking up. You know, we're questioning why we're working so hard, but I mean, some of us are working so hard and we're not able to save anything, and we're kind of struggling, and we kind of have it worse off than our parents do. And fucking wild. But also, we're just seeing that world that we're living in and how everything is set up. Like, we have 7 days in a week, we work 5 of them, we have no time to do the things that we love. Like, all we're doing is paying bills, and everyone's just like, yeah, that's life. Realizing that that's absolutely ridiculous. And I feel like once all like the older generations gracefully leave us and Gen Z actually is in control, that's when we're going to see the most changes. And I really truthfully believe that. I don't know, this is just my thought. I feel like the most people who care about politics and care about a lot of the world are all the older people. And it's like, you guys aren't even going to be around to see what you guys are complaining about. So care so much. Where are the generation that is going to change things? Where are the generation that is going to see change? And we're waking up and seeing that this is all fucking crazy. And we've been living in like a delusion, it feels like. Or am I the only one?
He's not the only one. And one thing I do when I meet with guys, right? I show guys why us guys that are living overseas, I show why it's the Matrix. And then I explain everything and they always get shocked. Anybody that knows, people that have met with me know. They go, wait a minute, you mean if I live outside, I can get this, this, and this, and this. I can do this, 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 and this. I can claim this, 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 and this. Wait a minute, so you're telling me I can make up on my retirement? I show guys how to make up retirement that they've missed for so many years. Let me tell you guys what happened, what made me tap out of society, right? When I saw that, and I realized it, I said, pretty soon, the baby boomers, right? There were so many baby boomers, they took up all the retirement. So jobs started offering that less. Pensions, right? They took away all of the pensions. There's not really any pension fund anymore. So it wasn't just Gen Z that saw that. That happened with millennials. Also, it happened with Gen Z as well, but it happened to millennials. We're the first generation that saw it. And actually, millennials, some of them were the first guys to say, screw this, we're out, right? And that's what we did. And that's especially what I did. So I show guys, you're living in the Matrix. And it's deeper than people think. They think it's just the ladies. No. It's everything. The food, the weather, everything.
Generation of man is weaker. They don't know how to hunt. They don't know how to fish. This man don't know. This man can't handle struggle. This man can't get drunk every night and still get. See, this new generation of man is weaker. They don't know how to hunt. They don't know how to fish. This man don't know. This man can't handle struggle. This man can't get drunk every night and still get up and go to work every morning like the men before us used to do.
Right.
We break week and call in. Yeah. This today's man ain't strong enough, my nigga, to be honest enough with his woman and say, yeah, I got another woman. This ain't them kind, man, no.
You're right. It's different.
He got to see a high value man ain't nothing but a trick. A high value man ain't nothing but a trick. A nigga playing trick. He got a little money to play trick. Strip his accolades and strip his money from him. And how can he stand as a man?
What's left?
Listen, my nigga. The slave used to have to stand on the auction block butt naked. Think about you done been stripped to your bare minimum as a man, standing naked. What kind of man are you if you stand naked before the world and can't nobody see your house, can't nobody see your car? Who go speak?
See, what's happening is Charleston White's funny, ha ha, chuckle, chuckle, but he's bringing men backwards. It's time to bring men forwards, right? Men don't want to see struggle. That's all men hear about the back in the day. Struggle, 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 struggle. Men are tired of hearing struggle. What's the solution? How do they get out of struggle? How about you teach men how to do what it is you're doing, Charleston? Seriously, you can make a bag doing that instead of going around, bashing people and bashing Charlie Kirk and bashing other things. You can make a bag in a program, but no, you won't put together a program for the youth, right? We got to teach one, not put the next man down. Teach. You have to be willing to be patient, right? Because what you're doing is what they did to Christ. Pointed fingers at him. The youth don't need that. The youth need somebody that understands, that says, yeah, this is going on. But yeah, you can work hard. Because these young boys are working hard. That's why the guy said, guys are going to the gym. A lot of guys are doing the work. You have some that are not, that need direction. Give them some direction. But yeah, y'all, thank y'all for watching. Peace out. See you next video.
The Iceman is coming!
Winter is here.